Acknowledge me!
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Kenan, and welcome to Wrestling is Awesome. Joining me from the team today, we have my right-hand man, Neil. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
Good to have you on. We had to drop a special episode for this Elimination Chamber review. So much went down. I need to talk about it. I need to get some things out of me and converse about this. So that is what we're going to be talking about here. So this is full spoilers. If you haven't watched Elimination Chamber, hit the pause on this. Go watch the PLE, then come back and watch this, okay? Because we're going to have some thoughts. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us as always. This week we didn't have our regular episode because I'm in the process of moving house. I'm in temporary accommodation at the moment, moved in with the in-laws. So that means two things. One, I'm in a very temporary setup with a lot of stuff behind me, hence the blurred and form virtual background, which I'm going to be currently using for the next couple of weeks. And also it meant that I couldn't live stream. So normally I would live stream these PLEs, and even previous in the house, my office was kind of set up in the bedroom with Emma sleeping, but there's a gap, there's a distance. Here the bed is less than a foot away. So there was no way that I was going to be able to stay up till like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, live reacting to this. So I had to get up this morning, take all myself off social media, and watch the PLE. Now, what I will say, because we'll come straight onto it, because we're talking spoilers, about halfway through the PLE, I got a notification from Twitter, drop down. I'd forgotten to turn off my notifications, and it said John Cena wins Elimination Chamber. So that, as much as it frustrated me, there was only going to be one of two people who I thought was going to win this. It was either going to be Cena or if it was going to be Punk. So I wasn't overly upset. I was particularly not upset because of how the show ended, which was not spoiled. And that took my breath away. Okay. So first of all, before we go into the huge news, life-changing news for long-time wrestling fans, John Cena winning, where was that on your bingo card? Did you see that happening? Was he your pick? I think, like I said, he was one of two that I could have gone with. I personally went with CM Punk because of how potentially booked Cena going into WrestleMania. I was very, very wrong, but John Cena walked out. I guess, and even when I was watching it, I was like, I don't want Cena to win because he came back, he did the Rumble and then disappeared. He showed up on the night. And he was like second to last hour, whatever it is. And it's like, does he deserve this? Do you know, it's like, should this be built around him? Now I'm like, yeah, I'm all on board. But at the moment, at the time of the Elimination Chamber, I was feeling something different. How did you feel about John Cena winning?
All I will say is hindsight is a mother, because
Yes.
when you think about it, before last night, before Elimination Chamber, everything was scheming towards Cena he won't win, or he doesn't deserve to win. He hasn't been there. He showed up at the Rumble, then he conference, yeah, I'm in Elimination Chamber, I'll see you then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now he's won. Mm-hmm. But the way the entire night unfolded, you line everything together, it makes absolute perfect sense. In a real world setting, yes, he has to film movies and he has other commitments he needs to keep to, but also he has ring rust.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, from the last time he was like a full-timer, he's dropped weight. Yes. He hasn't been training he's dropped weight. I'm 100% sure his training is different.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah. So on my bingo card, it was either him or Punk. Until Royal Rumble, it was more Punk than him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But seeing that double stomp and the Roman Seth Punk angle, I was like, nah, I think it'll probably be Cena who wins, especially after Jey Uso picked Gunther.
Yes. Yes.
So, but when I say that, I mean it was like 51% Cena wins, 49% Punk wins. Not like, oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be that. So that
What do
was
you
where
think
it
of
was.
what do you think of the Elimination Chamber as a whole? I thought it was decent. I thought the heels kind of got eliminated a bit too early. Because Drew was quick. Then we had Logan Paul out fairly quick. Damian Priest, he was never really going to be in it, but I was kind of surprised by Drew a little bit. I mean, obviously it's going to feed into a storyline. The fact that he got eliminated so early, and it's looking like it's going to set. It was Priest that pinned him, right?
Yeah,
With the
it was
roll up.
Drew
So
versus Priest.
they
Especially
kind of
it
set.
was a roll up. It wasn't a
Wasn't a
nailed
clean
with the
thing.
South of
Yeah, exactly. And he eliminated him at the Rumble, so it's kind of feeding into that narrative. And
yeah.
personally, I think Drew deserves better, but when you've got the card stacked as it is, that becomes very, very difficult. Something's got to give somewhere. He had his moment last year. And I definitely see it sort of like a summer of McIntyre. I think after
Yeah.
WrestleMania, I build momentum up and potentially him winning something at Survivor Series. But yeah, there wasn't many huge spots. I thought in terms of the match, I thought the women's Elimination Chamber was a better match than the men's. But I did like the storyline between Cena and Punk. I liked the respect that they threw onto each other. And they kind of went for hell of it. They kind of teamed up against Seth, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I guess they thought, look, we're the old guard. If we want to make it, let's make it happen. So, but yeah, what did you think of the match?
The match, it admittedly, from a wrestling point of view, it wasn't the greatest match.
No.
From a storyline point of view, it was brilliant.
Yes.
It was brilliant because you think of everything that got set up. So they've set up the possibility for Drew versus McIntyre, Drew versus Priest, as you mentioned. They also set the tone of being like, okay, Punk, as far as I'm concerned, Punk is a heel, but it set up that tone of Punk isn't a heel, he's an anti-hero.
Yes.
And Cena is like, him and Cena were, if you look at like the Mount Rushmore of their generation is Cena, Punk, maybe I'd say Daniel Bryan, and possibly Bray Wyatt, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Right? Right? That was that's the Mount Rushmore of their generation. Or maybe not, maybe Brock Lesnar, you could say, is that, right?
The Impact.
So you say, but Punk and Cena are definitely 2 of the 4 on that Mount Rushmore. And to have them both in a match with full knowledge that Cena's retiring and Punk is of an advanced age where he ain't gonna have too many more opportunities to be at this level. It was nice. And it did set the stage where it was like, okay, this is, it's the old guard versus the new. But it's also 2 people with quote unquote unfinished business. Punk never main event WrestleMania. Cena last time at possibly winning that number 17. So it set the story well. It was a good story. And the fact that I think a lot of people used the fact that Logan Paul, that he was the only person who'd never been a world champion in it.
Yes.
And I'm saying, do you have any idea the faith, the boost that WWE must have in Logan Paul?
Yeah.
To be like, we're going to have 5 former world champions. In fact, let me rephrase that. 5 multiple world title winners and you.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It's a big statement. Yeah, like you said, he's, and he and Logan Paul keeps referring to himself as full time, and I don't know if that means full time for the next like 3 months, which I think it probably means, as opposed to he's going to be here every week. But Yeah, I thought Logan Paul was a nice mix in it. I mean, he didn't have as many spots as I thought he might. Did a great frog splash off the top of the pod.
Off the
Yeah, yeah, which was solid. And but yeah, the storyline with Seth and Punk,
brilliant.
it was really good. You know, the storyline between Seth and Punk. You know, Seth costing Punk ultimately with that stomp before he eliminated the cage was fantastic, and Cena, you know, taking advantage. You saw it happen. Put him in the submission, and he passed out. And I like that rather than him tapping out and stuff like that. Again, I thought that was really good, strong character.
Yeah.
There were some really funny moments. When Logan Paul was waiting for Punk to come out, and the lights are going on, and Punk said to the referees, like, "I'm the last one left. Just open the fucking door." It's just like,
oh yeah. I swear they knew that was gonna happen, because when he did that, he was like, "Open the fucking door." I heard him. He was like, "Open the," and it just went blank, and it was like door, and I was like, "Hey, this is."
Oh no, I heard it.
Cut off my shit.
I heard the F-bomb. I heard the F-bomb. That was great. Or maybe it's subliminal, maybe because I knew he was going to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really great
saying it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that when Drew and Seth were going at it, he was like applauding and goading both of them to like really attack the other
Seth
one.
Was on top of him. Yeah.
Yeah, or just not when Seth was still in the pod. When Seth was still in the pod.
When Seth was in the pod and Drew was in the corner and Seth was
Yes.
on top of him, and he was just laying him. And I think he did it again when he was slamming his head into there, and he was like, harder.
Come on, is that all you got? Come on.
Yeah. I was like doing that. And then it was like.
And then he did the reverse. So when Drew was going after him, Seth, and then he did the same thing as well. So really, really good.
Is the best person that's ever been in a cage, because they're in a pot rather, because he said, and I was in tears. He was like, when Logan Paul went up to do the frog splash, he was tapping on the top, and he was like, "Don't you do it! Don't you do it!"
Yeah. So entertaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Cena wins, and he's like, "Yep, I'll go to WrestleMania." The cage, the cage goes up, and he's stuck in the ring. Cody Rhodes came out, and I was okay, that's cool. They're going to shake hands because we know it's going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes now.
Yep.
And then the final boss makes his way down to the ring. Now, at this point, when Cena didn't leave, I became a little uncomfortable. Because I was like, there's no reason for Cena to stay in the ring at this point unless anything happens. Yeah,
do you know what
I did?
In my head, what I saw happening was, okay, Cena's still in the ring, Rock's in the ring, and I thought, you know what? They're gonna play this as, you got an angel on one side and the devil on the other.
Yeah, okay.
The Rock is the devil on one side, Cena's the angel on the other side. Cena will be like, "Don't do this, don't turn, don't join him, don't be his champion, blah 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 blah." And I thought the probable thing that will happen, Rock will probably attack Cody, Cena will intervene, and then they'll get Rock out of the ring. And then it will be like the two of them will be like, "We'll do this our way. I've got your back until Mania. You've got my back until Mania."
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I thought that, or I thought maybe like possibly
rest of the bloodline might come down.
Some of the bloodline might come out, right? I thought that's what it would be. But what happened was not on my bingo card. It wasn't in my crystal ball. Was not shining.
I mean, you got a pretty good crystal ball. You've got a pretty good vision of the future, and I have to say, Cody played it well. No, I thought Cody played it really well. My soul went to this ring and these fans a long, long time ago, and then he was like, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself." I was like, "Goodness me."
It was like, it is terrible. It was like hearing a grandparent swear for the first time, and I was like, "Huh? Ooh."
Yeah, it's like, oh, really on Netflix? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there is nothing here. I mean, I think the only person who's really sworn like that before is The Rock, and he kind of gets away with it. But the fact that he did that to him, and then we had the long pause, he had John Cena celebrating in the background. He was like, "Yes, you really told him where to go." We had this really long pause. The Rock steps back. Cena goes in for the handshake. They embrace.
They hug.
And the face change. That
Mm.
camera shot of Cena's face is gonna play for years and generations to come. The face change where every emotion just goes out of his face. That solemn look. Goes to the Rock. He does the two fingers, gesture, and swift quick to the balls. And it wasn't just then. He went into him. He picked up the Rolex, using it like a brass knuckle, beat him down. He took the title, smashing him in the face. And they're holding him down. The Rock brings out the belt with Cody's soul. Wipes the blood on it with him. And it's like, this was like proper corporate Cena Rock shit.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it.
And when you think of it, right, there was so much symbolism in it because it was using the Rolex as the brass knuckles. I'm like, it's like, you think anybody who knows outside, away from wrestling, if you're a police officer for a certain amount of years, when you retire, they give you a Rolex. This is in America here, but when you retire, you get given a Rolex. When
Or a gold
Rolex is or a gold watch, right? A Rolex is so synonymous with being, it's like a gift from the gods, so to speak. So using the Rolex, saying, I'm using this status symbol to attack you. That's that. The fact that on the belt it said Cody's soul, but the date was Dusty's passing.
Yeah.
It was
And the Rolex plays into it because Cody Rhodes gave Rolexes to Roman Reigns and The Rock after WrestleMania. And they believe that's what The Rock had back to Cody the Monday night after Mania. When they passed him something in the hand, they're like, he's giving him back his Rolex. So I think it's the Rolex that was on Cody's hand fell off, and he picked that up and utilized that. So just these little symbolisms. And I mean, who thought we'd get a John Cena heel turn before we got GTA 6? In his last year, he's gone heel. And it's like, but when you look back, it kind of plays out. He's spoken about this. They played an interview. Is it Chris Valent? Is it
Chris Van Vliet?
Van Vliet. He posted an interview where he had with Cena in February last year when he was talking about, everyone turns heel. It's about whether they come back to the light. I think it's very much Cena is doing whatever he can to get that 17th title. The fact that he said it's best for business that in WrestleMania.
That line. He kept saying
exactly, it's best for business. It's best for business.
This is what I said. You go back and you take everything. Don't take it as a chunk episodic. Take it all and put it in a straight line, and it's just like pure heel turn. And it is, the thing is, it's executed. I was watching live when Stone Cold turned heel, right? When Stone Cold joined with Vince McMahon. And all I'm going to say is that wasn't as good a heel turn as it was supposed to be. In part due to the fact that the heel turn came like 2/3 through the match, and then the match finished, right? It needed to have been the last thing that happens, and then the match ends. So it didn't really have that effect. This one had all the effects, because it was like, this is the man who has literally built his entire life outside of wrestling around his wrestling persona as being, I'm the Make-A-Wish guy.
Yeah.
I'm the
good guy.
Kids,
I'm the guy who doesn't tell you never give up. I inspire people.
Never give up. Every time he comes out, the towel comes out, never give up. Throws it to a kid. The hat goes off, it goes into the crowd. The t-shirt goes off, it goes into the crowd. And it's always, this is your boyhood hero. This is Hulk Hogan. Always eat your vitamins and vegetables. This is that level. Say your prayers. This is that. The most the two things, you know, when they say, oh, it's like, oh, only things that are certain in life are death and taxes. So the only thing certain in life is death, taxes, and John Cena being a good guy. And whew,
And you know, it shows that the trust and it shows the trust that the WWE and Teach have in Cody Rhodes as being the face of the company and being that John Cena character, that they're able to give John the freedom to do this. I'd love to know whose idea it was. I'd love to know if it's him. I'd love to know where that originated from. You know, maybe we'll find out in the future. But Cena now, do you want to see him out next? Head shaved, thugonomics. What do you want from Cena now moving forward? Because I would love to see a little bit of a change up to him.
I want to see a change up, but not a dramatic change. If that makes sense. So I still want the jeans and the trainers.
Yeah, the jorts.
But I always want them, the jorts and trainers, but I always want them to be black. They all got to be black. They can't be these beautiful white trainers and denim jeans that are synonymous, you know. I'm like, that denim, that blue denim will always be synonymous with like Americana. You know, this is a working man. A working man wears denim, you know, Wrangler and Levi. I need these jet black denim, or change it up to shorts or something, right? But because he needs to look like John Cena, but he needs to look like John Cena going down dark path. So I want just dark colors.
It's like evil.
Shirt.
Yeah. It's like evil Michael Knight from Knight Rider. You need the moustache. Do you know what I mean? It's the same character, but darker.
It's the same thing. But that's exactly what I need. And I'm like, he needs to come out. The music, he needs his version of what The Rock has. The final
boss kind of version. Yeah.
It starts the same and then switches right.
Apparently Travis Scott has written a song for him. Apparently that's a rumor and that's why Travis Scott was there.
Why he was there.
Exactly. And he was helping hold Cody down and stuff like that. So apparently he's there. He's written and produced a song for Cena as this heel turn that goes in. And do you want to see Cena win the 17th championship as a heel, or does he fail at WrestleMania, end up seeing the light and winning it as the good guy? What do you want to see?
What I want to see, we're not gonna see. Right? What I want to see is what I wanted before last night was Homelander Cody. I just want to see the villainous Cody Rhodes, blonde hair, always in a suit, but just a menace. I don't care if I ever see that now. Okay, right? What I want to see now is I want to see Cena win the title. I want Cena to win the championship, and I want him to win it as a heel.
Right.
And the reason I want him to win it as a heel is because what better redemption arc is there than winning the title as a heel, losing it as a heel, but redeeming yourself in losing? That redemption arc at your loss. So he wins the 17, and then it's like my dream come true. Well, I was dream come true is WrestleMania. Cody loses, right? Cody loses, and Cena wins, and Cena's holding that title, but you see just pure conflict in his face as he's staring at this title, because it's like, you've done it. You've beaten Ric Flair's record. You have number 17.
But you sold your soul.
You sold your soul to do it. And that conflict in his face, and then have him just do what The Rock says, you know, just be, I'm The Rock's champion. But you could just always see that little hint of conflict in him, that he's doing this. And then whether it's Roman, whether it's Cody, whether it's Seth, whether it's Punk, even if it's Punk, right? It's when he does lose it, hopefully it's maybe a SummerSlam, maybe it's towards the end of the year, maybe Survivor Series, you know, right? He loses the title. And then maybe The Rock and whoever's The Rock's cronies, it might be Bloodline, it might not, whoever are The Rock's cronies, they jump whoever wins that title. and they're beating whoever's got that title. And then Cena just is like, I can't do this anymore. And he does what Sammy did when Sammy turned on Roman.
Yeah.
That redemption right there, that's
Right.
what I
So
want. That's what I need.
Right. So this is how I book it. All right.
Mm.
So yes, Cena wins at WrestleMania. Okay. And I'd probably even have it as night 1. So night 2, you could finish on Jey Uso on the positive.
Yeah.
So that's probably how I'd book it. But yeah, John Cena wins, Cody loses. He's in the ring. The final boss celebrates him with his champion. You might even have some of the bloodline there celebrating. You know, Brock brings in the family. Not Roman Reigns, because that doesn't fit in, but obviously Solo,
Yeah.
Jacob, Tamatonga, whatever. I would do a Return of the Jedi moment. So I would have a rematch at the end of the year, maybe even have sort of like a new pay-per-view called Final Level. So basically either John Cena wins and retires as champion, or it's a chance for Cody to win his title back. And there's no hold bars. The Rock gets involved and he's beating down on Cody. And Cena has the realization he doesn't want to go out this way. So it's like the Emperor taking down Luke and Vader watching. And then basically Cena has that moment where he takes out the Rock, and then Cody pins Cena for the win, takes the title off of him. But he redeems himself at the end of the match, during the match. So he's the hero before he loses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'd book it. But
And
hey,
in fact, you know,
we've got a huge
what
10
you're
months to
saying?
come.
What you're saying, and even more beautiful to what you're saying, is he does that. He goes before the end of the match. He turns face, then loses the match. Then you just have that moment where whoever has dethroned him, whoever is now the champion, sticks out their hand to him while he's on the floor and helps him up to his feet. And then it's just like they shake hands, they hug. Cena holds him up, holds his hand up. You are the new champion.
Yeah, it could be Punk. It could be Randy Orton. It doesn't have to be Cody. Do you know what I mean? It does not have to be Cody. But I'd imagine it would be from that passing of the torch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want him to have a rematch unless it was like another, like the third act. So I don't know whether he beats Cena in a non-title match or he wins via DQ or something like that, and they end up having the rubber match towards the end of the year. Then I'm fine with it. So, but hey, John Cena is turned heel. I cannot wait to see what happens on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if he's going to be there. This is going to be crazy next 10 months. And just when they were in the ring together and Cena put his foot on Cody's head, it's the little things. It was so beautiful. So, right, let's move on. So let's talk about the Women's Chamber match. I thought this was a great match, highly entertaining. But before the match even kicked off, we had Naomi in the ring and we had Liv Morgan in the ring. And then coming out was Jade Cargill, looking like a badass. She stormed down to the ring. Great play. Liv looking like she knew that she was in for a hell of a time. She's going to be absolutely punished. And just like, you know, was it me? Cargill turns, takes out Naomi and does it so well, brutalizes her, ends up slamming her in the cage door, which was fantastic. So actually eliminated her from the match. Not just a beat down and Liv pins her, took her out to a point where she could not compete.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
When they said that, when they were like, oh, Naomi cannot compete and therefore she has been eliminated, and they would just put her on that stretcher and dragged her out. And then seeing, I mean, look,
Belair crying in the pod,
unable to do anything. Wrestlers, you know, there is that, you know what it is? It's like, you know, when they say, oh, most musicians can't make good actors, right? You have your rare moments where you have some who actually do become really good actors. But for the most part, you know, if Drake is in a film, you're like, I don't know about that. And people feel the same about wrestlers, right? When you see certain wrestlers pop up in a movie, you're like, you've probably taken this part away from an actual better actor. Seeing Naomi getting brutalized and seeing the full anguish on Bianca Belair's face, beating on the cage, beating on that pod. Let me out. Why? Screaming. She's screaming, why? Why are you doing this? Jade, Naomi, you're like screaming for everything. And in my mind, I was like, are they going to open her cage door and let her out? And they were just like, nah, stay right up in here. And then it was like seeing the reaction of like Liv Morgan, who was like taunting her while she's stuck in that cage. And then all of this happening. And I was just like, yeah, this is the storyline building.
Yeah. Liv Morgan was the MVP for me for that match. I thought Liv was fantastic. Even from her entrance, she was taunting Bianca in the pod with her tag team title.
Yeah,
when
she come out with the belt and then she's like, oh, I was just like, in my head, I was like, you're gonna get off beat when she comes out of that cage.
Yeah, and I was surprised. For me, I was surprised Bianca won. The fact that I thought there was other storylines that she'd be going into, so that's why I didn't pick her. I actually picked from everyone. I didn't want to see Liv versus Rhea again. That's why I didn't go. So I went with Alexa Bliss because I thought it was something different, something fresh. I'm not upset that Bianca won, but I didn't see it happening because of these other storylines. So now we got to have Jade via Naomi at WrestleMania. But yeah, it was, like I said, really entertaining match. The whip. Oh my God, Bianca's hair when she whipped it against Liv Morgan when they're hanging on the cage. Oh, I was listening to it in bed with my headphones on, and my movement when it happened, Emma was like, what is going on? I was like, no, you need to watch this. It's my headphones on replayed it.
Bro, I was sitting in this chair that I'm in, and I was leaning back, and when that whip happened, I was like, oh. Right? And then what got me was even Michael Cole was like, oh my God, Liv is bleeding. You can see that she's bleeding from that hair whip. And I was like, no, she's not. And then the camera cut to her. You can see her midsection. And she wasn't bleeding, but that line of red. And I was like, ooh, Zorro don't cut that deep.
Yeah, that was crazy. So obviously where Naomi and Jade Cargill goes, Bailey, I don't know necessarily what happens with her. It's probably going to be her and Roxanne Perez again. The storyline will probably continue there. I think that Alexa Bliss is going to kind of get tied up again in the White Six because there's another little White Six flash after she was on screen again. So Bianca Belair, she's going to be facing either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. So how do you think that's going to go on Monday night, tomorrow night?
If someone other than Bianca won, it wouldn't have surprised me if Io won. Now I'm very much like it's going to be Bianca versus Rhea.
Okay. I think it's going to be a triple threat. I think something's going to happen with the match. It's going to end in a no contest between Rhea and Io, and then it'll make it a triple threat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That wouldn't surprise me, and I think that would be good. And I think that would be the perfect way to make Io the new champion, to have her win at Mania, because you've got these two women who are arguably the strongest two women in WWE.
Yeah.
And having the two of them brutalize each other, because I don't know if you've ever seen like the Bianca versus Rhea in NXT, but those two go at it,
right?
And to know we've seen enough wrestling, we know how strong both of those two women are. See those two go at it, it would be great. And then seeing those two beat the hell out of each other, and maybe it's a KOD, maybe it's a Riptide, probably a Riptide, and then go into the pin, and then you just see that moonsault come in, land, pin, 1, 2, 3, Io's champion. Now, if it's just the two of them, that's a strong match.
It's a strong match,
but
it's good.
It also, I'm just like, I can't wait to see. Like Saturday morning, next week, Saturday morning, can't come fast enough because I need to see what happens when Jade is there and they were like, Jade, why did you do this? And Jade pulls up footage and says, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Naomi do something, and then you see, you know, like, oh, Liv Morgan was there, but she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, you
I,
do
I,
something.
I'd like to see it like in the first person, like she was like filming herself for a TikTok social media thing. And you see Liv and Raquel walk past, make a comment, but nothing happens. And then she gets attacked by Naomi. You see the phone drop, don't quite know. And then you see it's Naomi. And I'd love to see it kind of like that rough and ready footage, because if it was security cameras, we should have had that by now. Do you know what I mean? But the fact is, Jay's known all along who it was, but she hasn't said anything. And this has been my problem with the build up to the storyline, where Bianca's like, oh, she's not responding to text, she's trying to get better. Why didn't they just have her saying Bianca says she doesn't, but Jay doesn't know. Jay doesn't know what happened. And then Naomi would be acting like, oh, I've really gotten away with it because like she didn't see what happened, or, you know, she's got no memory of it, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That would have been so much better.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, if you saw how relieved Naomi was when they got shown the footage and you saw Liv and Raquel, it was like, oh, it was
I've got
them.
it out.
I knew it was them. It was like, I knew it was them. I knew it was them. I'm free. And then I was like, no, you're not, because you didn't. You did this, and now the punishment is coming. And now it's like, because right now it's a thing of Bianca doesn't know. How does Bianca focus on wrestling for the world heavyweight championship at WrestleMania when her quote unquote two best friends are at absolute war with each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, who do you know, because all it is the first week, all that can be said is, are you sure it's her? Unless she's got proof.
Yes.
Are you sure it's her? Are you positive it's her? How do you know it's her? That's all that week one can be. Then it's got to be, well, now here's proof. Now what do you do? Now it's Bianca has to go to Naomi. No, why did you?
Because Naomi won't be there this week.
Was the
She's
reason
taken out.
Yeah. But it's like, why did you do this? What was the reason you had to do this, to attack her? And then hopefully, I don't know how they do it, because hell, I don't know how I do it. But how they can somehow get Naomi to be like, I had a good reason, or I had a reason that is enough of a reason that Bianca is like, I don't agree, but I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Because it needs to be them two going at it.
It does. It does. So that was the women's. So that was a women's elimination chamber match. A cracking match. Let's talk briefly about the tag match. It was okay. It was serviceable. The good guys won. I'm really struggling with Tiffy at the moment. I'm not warming to her as a champion. She's not a great face. She's a better heel, and I don't care about her match. I actually want Charlotte to win. What are your thoughts?
I agree, because of the simple fact is, turning Tiffany face was a bad idea. Her being a sympathetic heel is fine. But her being because then she was like, everything she did was heel tactics. I befriended Nia. I played along like I was the dumb, dozy blonde, didn't know anything. I got her, waited till her weakest moment, stole her championship, and went about my business. Cool. That totally get. But now you're a face. You should have won the title and been like, it's officially Tiffy time. To all of you who doubted me, ha ha ha. To all of you who were riding with me, I never needed you. That's what it needed to be. Now it's like you got her. It's like it's Roman Reigns post Shield again. You're forcing something down my throat
Yeah.
that I don't believe and I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Tiffany Stratton fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm more of a fan of her as a heel, being that bitch, for lack of a better term,
Mm-hmm.
and then having her, this young, pretty, athletic woman who is basically sculpted in the same vein as Charlotte Flair, having to go
Yes.
against Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
The queen versus the princess.
Yeah.
What needs to be.
Yeah. I'm younger than you. I'm smarter than you. I've won my title at this age. You know, I'm gonna have a better career than you. That's all it needed to be. You know, like you say, sort of like that. It can be heel versus heel. We knew Charlotte wasn't going to be able to pull off a face
Yeah.
turn, coming back from a year and a half out and just winning the Rumble. That wasn't going to happen. So yeah, just let them play to their natural characters. A story will develop. You don't have to have her as a face, but if they are going to keep her as a face, she needs some better mic work, some better promo work, because her face promo work is poor.
Yeah.
And her storytelling during matches isn't great. She gets beat down and then it's Tiffy time, and that's all she screams, and it's just like it's getting a bit tiresome. But hey, any other thoughts on that match before we go?
Trish Stratus, that was a wonderful outfit.
Yeah.
That was a
Looking
wonderful
good.
outfit.
Looking good. I just tonight, and mad props to Nia Jax again. You know, I think she's just so great, and I just want her to be champion again, and I'm happy. She's just
I
so
think,
good.
do you know what it is? Nia has realized that the strongest part of her performance in the ring is how much punishment she can take, as much as how much punishment she can dish out. It's that I'm going to do a move. My opponent is smaller and faster, so they're going to escape that move, and I'm going to take a brutal amount of punishment off of that. But I know if I catch you with one or two moves, it's over.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and it's like that fact of how many people keep trying to do a power bomb to Nia Jax. And it's like some people pull it off, but it's always, are you going to pull it off, or are you going to get that sit down?
Yeah. Right, let's talk about the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I thought this was so good. I just thought the storytelling throughout this match was fantastic. It was brutal, but it was personal. The chair shots, you know, Kevin Owens going face first into the chair, barbed wire, the power bomb into the chair with the barbed wire, the hockey stick stuff. It was just fantastic through and through. And I thought this was going to go one of two ways. It was either going to be Kevin Owens take the loss because of an interference, an assist, that he was going to win. I went with the interference, but it didn't happen that way. He got a fairly clean win. You know, he took Sammy out and he brutalized him, kept smashing him on the side of the ring, and you know, basically trying to end his career, which is as per the story. And then we have Voices in Your Head, and Randy Orton returned, which most of us predicted now was going to be the time. It's just about how it was going to happen. And he came out and saved Sammy from a pole driver to the concrete on the outside. And again, Randy Orton looking like he was going to go for the chair shot, lined himself up for the punt, classic Orton, and got held back. And then he delivered 6 RKOs to all the security staff, which was lovely. Yeah. But yeah, so we knew that match was going to happen at Mania. Has to be. And but it was such a good match. I was really surprised because I felt like we had seen these two wrestle before, but it was just a different kind of match. It was slow paced to start with. Some stuff going on in the crowd was just fine, but then there was just some really fantastic spots and storytelling. Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good match. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think the entire match, from the start of it to the end of it, the storytelling, the callbacks to some of their many matches against each other, brilliant. The promo before the match, brilliant. It highlighted everything that they've gone through. All of that. The commentary towards the match, brilliant again. only issue I have with the match, I think the barbed wire chair,
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have come slightly differently.
Okay.
I think it still should have been what it was, a barbed wire
Mhm.
chair, but I think maybe it shouldn't have been like it's just under the ring. It should have been like it was hidden away somewhere else. And
Right.
because
Yeah, go on.
it just being under the ring means that anyone can get it.
Mm-hmm.
It needed to be a bit where it was like Sammy was like, I've aimed to do this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone, and like maybe if his family were in the front row or something, and then he just leans over and grabs
Right.
like a wrap up bag and then rips it open, and then you see this barbed wire. And I go,
Gotcha.
Sammy, don't do it. Sammy, no, this is too far. He's not worth it. That would have been better than it's just he reached under the ring. Because I'm like, the amount of chairs that came out from there. If what would have happened if Kevin Owens had lifted it and just, oh, there's a barbed wire chair.
Yeah, see, I saw it slightly differently. I saw it, the facial expressions and everything that Sammy had was like Kevin Owens had put it under there and he was like, you were going to use this on me.
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I mean? That's how I saw it. It's like,
that would have been different.
hang on.
That would have been very different.
You put this under here. You were going to use this on me, you son of a bitch. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to use it on you now. I found it before you got a chance to get it. But I think he could have verbalized that a little bit more. Like if he said, seriously, it's like, you were going to use this on me. And that would have explained it a little bit better. But that's how I saw it. But there wasn't enough to it, you know?
Yes. And the only other thing I disliked, and it's going to be really stupid and really tiny and trivial.
Okay, go on.
Randy Orton should not have come to the ring in his ring gear.
Yes, I agree with that.
He should have come. He should have been wearing, if you're wearing your wrestling boots, fine, but you should have had jeans or jogging bottoms on, maybe a t-shirt. If you come out without a t-shirt, that's fine, but you should have been in street clothes to emphasize. Because I'm like, you came in your ring gear, so you came to this event ready to fight. Cool. But you came ready to win a match. Yeah. Even Sami Zayn had the match in street clothes.
Yeah.
But you came to the ring in your ring gear.
That's a really good point. I didn't think of it at the time, but now you point it out. It's like, yeah, why are you coming down in trunks, bro? It's like,
I was like, what's weird, right? So that was my only issue with it. But other than that, it was brilliant. Also, I think it wouldn't have had the same reaction, but I think maybe I would have had it that Randy Orton was already in the crowd, but it wouldn't have had the same reaction. So instead of having his music play, or even if you had his music play, then you could have like Kevin Owens react and be like, okay, and then have him like, eyes aimed at the ramp, like he's looking down the ramp thinking like, come on. And then like a viper, he comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Having him just walk to the ring, it's like, for the effect on the entire audience in the arena, it works lovely.
Yes.
But
when you're watching it at home,
that moment of like, oh, he's here and he's unhinged. He's come from the ring, and he's attacking you. That would have been lovely. Oh, the punt, that would have been lovely. But McAfee said it beautifully. When everybody rushed the ring to stop him from doing the punt, what got me was when McAfee went, now you do your job?
Yeah. We want to see this. Do you know what I mean? And it's like all these pile drivers and everything. It's like, now you stop him? Oh, jeez. Brilliant. Okay, so that's all the matches. So what would you give the rating of this PLE out of 5?
I have to rate it wrestling and storytelling. From a wrestling point of view, I would say this thing was about 3.5 out of 5.
Great.
For storytelling, holy hell, about 5.7, maybe 5.8, It's like you've got the start. You started your night with the insaneness of Bianca,
Cargill.
Jade,
Mhm.
and Naomi.
Naomi.
You
Mhm.
started that crazy, and it was just brutal.
Mhm.
So that was a brilliant way to start, and then the upheaval. Then you went from there to having this light, fairy, toilet break tag match,
And yeah.
right? They had toilet break tag match. You then had the brutalization of Kevin Owens,
Stream match. Yeah.
and
And sanctioned match.
that unsanctioned match, right? And the brutality of it, and the return of Randy and everything. And then you have the men's match, which was all right,
Mm-hmm.
but from a storyline, it did some things. And then you just said, you know what this was? This was the Empire Strikes Back, but instead of it being that I am your father, it would be Luke being like, how about I join you?
Yes.
That's what it'd be like. Is if he was like, oh, I can complete your training, and then he just turns off his lightsaber and he's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was yeah, like I said, I thought I'd see the day. At this point where Cena would turn heel, and especially in his final year. But I think
Yeah.
it's the best for business. I think it's gonna be incredible. I think it puts Cody in a great position within the company and to be that face.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many kids cried or how many adults cried when they saw John Cena turn heel.
Look, I got a post. I will send it. I'm gonna send it in our group chat in a little while. But I saw a post and I was like, yeah, that's 100% accurate.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just. Oh, did you see the press conference afterwards?
I
With
didn't, but I
Cena.
heard that Cena he refused to speak.
So basically, Cena walks in, doesn't
Mm.
say a word, sits down,
Mm.
takes the microphone
Mm.
out of the holder on the table, holds it up,
Mm.
drops it on the table, and then walks out.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Matt's been heel for like an hour and he's already phenomenal at it. So yeah, it was really, really good. And the Rock, they had a chat with the Rock afterwards at the press conference, and they talked about being in the ring and stuff like that. I haven't watched it all, but yeah, there's some interesting stories gonna be playing out over the next 6 weeks. And obviously, John Cena's coming over to the UK. He's part of the tour.
Yeah, because
He's going to be on Raw, so it's going to be amazing to see how the crowd react to him. Because last time he was here, he's like, "I'm going to try and get a WrestleMania for you guys," and now he's like,
I'm gonna be drinking. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be drinking lemon and ginger all day, because when I get to that arena, look, I ain't never booed as much as I'm gonna boo that man. Right? I'm gonna be booing him.
And then yeah, I mean Roman Reigns is gonna be over here and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a really interesting time. Where does Roman fit into WrestleMania and all this? So now Elimination Chamber, now we've seen where it's gonna go. We'll do a review show next week, and I think after that we're gonna start trying to book WrestleMania how we see fit, how we would do it. So it's gonna be interesting. What I thought I might do is I might do a series of episodes where each person gets to book their WrestleMania and we can comment on it, rather than all trying to do it at the same time.
And say,
Because
that would be lovely.
it'll be really difficult then. So give everybody a chance to book their WrestleMania. We can all give our thoughts on it, and then we'll take the best of everybody's plans and try and come up with a collective
Perfect mania.
a perfect mania. Yeah,
Perfect
exactly.
mania.
Exactly. So that's the idea. But a lot of that will depend on the arrival of my newborn son. He's due on the 26th, which is why I can't go to SmackDown or Raw in London. And God, just incredible timing. But my wife is open to the idea of going to WrestleMania next year in New Orleans, because we've all spoken about going there, and it's like, okay, baby will be one. I was like, so are we taking the baby to the arena? Is he going to wear headphones? She goes, no, I'll just stay in the hotel and you go. So I was like, okay.
Listen, you have any idea what experiencing your first WrestleMania? You'll be like, you were one.
You're one.
And you were in the arena.
You do it in the arena. Yeah, because when he's old enough and realizes that he was at New Orleans and not at WrestleMania, he may resent me for the rest of his life. Because he could have said, "You're gonna take me to WrestleMania." So we'll see what happens.
You that'll be a heel turn coming.
Heel turn. Sun turns healed on me. Right. So that's our thoughts on Elimination Chamber 2025. Thank you very much, Neil, for joining us. Thank you for those watching on YouTube and TikTok, because I'm going to post this whole episode on TikTok. And if you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, we're available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Good Pods. Anywhere you listen to a podcast, we are there. Neil, anything else you want to mention before we wrap up today?
Nope. Just wow, what an event.
What an event. And yeah, I think overall for me it's kind of a 4.2. Like you said, the wrestling was okay in some instances. There's some really great matches, there's great spots from a storytelling point of view, is off the chain. So yeah, but that tag match was a bit of a filler. That's quite disappointing.
Yeah.
But that's it for PLEs now until WrestleMania, right? Yeah, it was kind of necessary.
Yes, that is. It was necessary because there's no way you could have gone from that women's match to KO to men's to the finale. So, yeah.
All right then. So John Cena turns heel in 2025. Who had it? Let us know in the comments. You may have thought you had it, but you knew deep down you knew it wasn't really going to happen. But it's happened. It's happened in our lifetime. This is gonna be one of those stories where we tell our kids, I was there when I watched John Cena turn heel. Let me tell you about when John Cena turned heel. Absolute madness. But yeah, that's the huge takeaway of the show. We got the final boss, The Rock and John Cena, where they wrestle once in a lifetime, twice at WrestleMania, but they're now on the same side. WrestleMania 41. It's gonna be a belter. That's it from us. So until next time, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and peace out.